This week on Launch for Accountants, big updates to the tool that I use to build bots in my accounting firm, interplanetary bill payments, and it happened. A no-code tool for muggles like you and I to build full-blown web apps.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
All that and even more on this week's Launch for Accountants. Let's talk about Zoom fatigue. If we weren't sick of meetings before COVID, by now we have reached peak Zoom meeting. So Jason, what's going on here? He won't answer you. He can't. Why not? This isn't the way he's been since COVID happened. He spent all day on Zoom meetings. He's tired. He's brain dead, you know? We used to have so much fun together, and now this is all he does. So what did my team do? We started pulling in whiteboard tools to make team meetings more productive. Come in with a clear purpose and everybody simultaneously works on the board together. Well, this week design tool Figma just launched their own whiteboarding tool and they're calling it Figjam. I mean, come on. It looks like they've got the goodies you'd expect from the leading whiteboarding tools out there, but it's definitely got that Figma personality. You can see each other's cursors, so there's a real sense of presence while you work. It has what's called cursor chat, where you type a little message and then there's a chat message bubble that tracks around with your cursor on the screen and you can high five. So next time you meet with your team, spend less time talking and more time working. And check out Figjam at figma.com/Figjam. Have you ever wondered what our world would be like if anyone could build cool software from scratch?
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so?
If you know literally anything about me, you know I think this movement towards anyone being able to build software is going to define the next couple decades of knowledge work. These tools are getting better, but are still not touching the most technical use cases. But here's a solution for just one of those very technical use cases. Code2 is a tool in early access that just got a round of funding, and it's a no-code platform for building out fully featured web apps. So not just a website, not just a landing page, but full-blown web apps with user management and everything. It actually kind of looks like Webflow for app development, which is very high praise. Now you can take this one for a spin for free in your first app on your own custom domain. It's only gonna cost you $14 per month. I'd encourage you to hop in and have a play with this one. The bottleneck right now isn't really the quality of the tools as much as remapping the way that we think to recognize that when we hit a wall, when we have a high volume problem with no solution, there's a good chance we could roll a simple solution ourselves. So congrats to the team at Code2 on the raise and head over to code2.io to learn more. We spend a lot of time talking about bots. And it's because the doom and gloom narrative around the accounting profession is generally centered around the bots that are going to replace accountants. More specifically, a technology called robotic process automation. Well, here's a bot update worth getting excited about. ElectroNeek this week announced version 5 of their platform with some new bells and whistles. Now, bot tech is already here and it's pretty good. It's something we're leveraging within my firm and isn't something to be afraid of. But we've had this narrative beaten into us so much that anytime the word bot comes up, accountants, they don't know what to do. So let's settle this once and for all. Here's how the bot revolution is going to go down for accountants. It's gonna make some people more efficient. They're gonna reduce the amount of mundane work that we're gonna have to do. And yes, that may displace people doing some mundane work, but you know what? Nobody's in a better place than accountants right now to leverage bots. You think some developer at his mom's kitchen table right now has whispered the secrets of the employee retention credit out of the tax code? No, you have. That was good, right? The bot thing. What were we talking about before that? Oh, the ElectroNeek update. That's what makes platforms like ElectroNeek so powerful. Anyone can build a bot from scratch to solve their own problems quickly. So what's new in version 5 of ElectroNeek? Beyond general UI and speed improvements here are my two favorite bits from the update. They've got a process recorder now. So even if you aren't the RPA expert on your team, a member of the team can record a workflow just by clicking around like they normally do as step 1 of the bot building process. Second, a standalone bot runner app. You can run this on any machine and run any bots you've built at no additional cost. So I build a bot on my machine, I install Bot Runner on Jim's machine, and he can run my bots all day long, whether Jim is my colleague or my client. Yeah, Think about that one. It's a really exciting time to be an accountant. This is exactly the type of stuff that we're geeking on in our accounting community. But ElectroNeek is my RPA tool of choice. Learn more about this one over at ElectroNeek.com. Bill payment platform Plooto just closed an $8 million funding round. Congrats to the team at Plooto. So what's Plooto gonna do for you? It's a bill payment platform that integrates with your QBO and Xero files, has a feature set that's gonna look familiar relative to most of the tools in the space, and they'll handle your AR and international payments as well. I met the team from Plooto a couple years ago at XeroCon, loved the tool, would have switched to it in a heartbeat had they had paper checks at the time. They didn't, but guess what? They do now. If you're from the Great White North, Plooto got its start in Canada and even has some Canada-specific government tax payment integrations that are gonna make your life even easier. Plooto's one of very few bill payment platforms, in my opinion. They give you a modern interface with deep functionality, the ability to create custom approval workflows, that sort of thing. Pretty cost effective as well, starting at just $25 per month. So if you've got clients still cutting paper checks and don't have a good solution for this, check this one out at Plooto, Plooto.com. A newly funded tool here called Abacum that's got a really interesting approach to financial modeling. I like it. Rather than rely on the monthly close process, as much as possible, it leans into your near live data integrations courtesy of the World Wide Web. The formal close process takes a heap of time, and there's always gonna be a place for it, but how do you turn your daily financial digest into something that's more kind of feed-based? Something automatically drawing on your data sources and isn't dependent upon manipulation into a GAAP-approved format or something like that. There's a lot of room for helpful financial data upstream from that. As you may expect, Abacum is gonna be backed by a pretty solid set of integrations. Among them, your proper accounting systems, QBO, Xero, NetSuite, and Intact. But that's just the start. You wanna integrate your operational data sources. Think Salesforce or Stripe or Gusto to build a more kind of holistic model. And it's all done in a space where you can model out your visual in a way that's gonna be customized for you. I'm a heavy Notion user, and when I see this, it makes me think Notion for financial modeling, which is a massive compliment. The result is a space where you've got all the data that matters to you pulled together in a single place. You can pull users in with granular access and build out a single source of truth outside of your accounting system where different stakeholders can have access to only the data you want them to have access to. That could be accounting data, but it can also be data from any of your other live sources. As the tools we're using are becoming more connected, I think this approach totally makes sense. So this one's called Abacum. Learn more about this one over at abacum.io. How do you feel about team messaging apps? Are they making you more productive? Well, Approveit is out to make your team messaging app a hive of productivity by piping any approvals in your entire business through Slack workflows, and I may be convinced. So IMO, virtually every business has about 10 times more approval processes than they realize. A huge percentage of the conversations we have, the emails we send, the messages we fire off are actually approval requests that ought to go through a formal pipeline, but they don't because it doesn't exist. There's not a tool for it. And Approveit's setting out to be a pipeline flexible enough for handling all sorts of different requests. Everything from basic stuff like time off or accounts payable to things we trip over every day, like software access requests or changing the flavor of the bathroom spray. And it comes in at a price that makes you think about it as well. The tier you want is $4 per user per month, basically unlimited, and they've got a Zapier integration on the way. So step one is set up those approvals to run through your Approveit Slack workflows. But then step two is wiring up the logic to make that stuff happen automatically based on whether it was approved or denied. Pretty cool. So that one's called Approveit. Looks like it just supports Slack right now, not Microsoft Teams. Learn more about this one over at approveit.today. I gotta go do some other stuff, but while I am, be sure to turn on notifications because we've got some special bonus videos on the way. In the meantime, check out this fine assortment of other weekly launch updates, and I'll see you in the next one. Black